So the other thing, I know most of you are here today, probably to discuss the Kim Gardner situation and what's going on here in St. Louis. So to give you a little update on that, so where we've been over the last, since we first realized that she was going to resign when she first turned in the resignation of June the 1st. So we put a plan in place then, suspected that could happen. So during that whole entire time, we continued to work as if she was going to resign on June the 1st. Nothing has changed in our plans other than she resigned today, which just implements that we're going to move that plan forward to what we're doing. So we've been reaching out to a lot of people over the last week or so. We've met with the chief of police, we've met with the sheriff, we've met with the mayor on multiple times. We've done, to be able to do that, we've met with the court systems, we've met with the U.S. prosecutor, we met with our own Attorney General's office to see how this is going to unfold when this day comes. Because we know that the attorney, or the office there, the prosecutor's office, is definitely going to need some major changes when somebody walks in there. So the main thing we want to make sure is we have the resources available for whoever that pick is, that we can do that on day one. So we're going to be able to do that by working through the Attorney General's office, the U.S. Attorney's office, and I will say this for the St. Louis area. There has been many people reached out and offered their assistance to help move this prosecutor's office forward. So as far as manpower goes, we want to make sure we give the resources we can once we pick that person to make sure they can be successful in there, and give them enough time so they can get their own staff, their own administration in there. A couple of highlights I might mention to you. This is not a political appointee. If that works out to be in the future, it is, but right now, it's much like when I became governor. We need somebody in there right now just to stabilize things and make sure we're doing the functions of the prosecutor's office to make sure we're going after hardcore criminals in this city and in this state. We know that there's probably close to 1,000 Class A's and Class B felonies on the book. Those are going to be a priority from day one, that we're going to go after some of the worst people in this town, and we're going to try to do everything we can to take them off the streets. We will give them the resources they need to be successful. So again, this is not something that's going to happen overnight, but it's something we've thought through, and we've got the things in place, we believe, to support that person when we pick it. So with the resignation today, that changes the scenario somewhat. We will advance that pick. Hopefully by this Friday, I'll be able to pick that person. In the meantime, we will ask the Attorney Generals to assist in the prosecutor's office, which is the right format to do that, until we make that pick on Friday. So that's what will happen the rest of the week. We will be doing some more of those interviews tomorrow and the days to come. But I will also tell you there has been an extremely talented pool of people have applied for this position that I've been very pleasantly appreciated, that people have really come out to just try to make this a better place and to fight the crime that's going on in St. Louis. So I'm looking forward to that. We believe we'll have that in place. Hopefully by sometime Friday we'll be able to make the announcement who that person is.
Will Wesley Bell be part of the
One at a time, right
transition?
here.
Will Wesley Bell be part of that transition?
We talked to Wesley Bell. We talked to a lot of local prosecutors around here last week, asking what services they would have to offer to help with us, and that's the conversation we had at the time. And then again, but we've reached out to, again, the Attorney Generals, the U.S. Attorney. There's many people here in town that's willing to do that. I have not talked to Wesley Bell since that time.
Governor, today in the office.
Let me ask a question.
Not me,
50 years ago, I'm with the African American Voice newspaper. 50 years ago, as a college student, I was denied the right to vote. I moved to St. Louis, Missouri. Kim Gardner had over 70% of the votes. So that tells me I voted for her and her vote does not count. Please help me understand how African American votes will count in the future we elected a person like her. I mean, I'm so disappointed. You call that voter suppression? And also, let me finish. You also
let me first let me correct you what you said. I didn't say anything about voter suppression at all. What I want to say is this. Kim Gardner resigned. As governor of this state, my job is to select the next person. That is the process that we go through. I'm not picking the next prosecutor that the people elected. People are going to have an opportunity to have that election. My job today is to appoint a prosecutor.
Her life was threatened. Her life was threatened. Her life was threatened. Her life was threatened. You didn't do anything about it.
Governor, thank you. The Wesley Bell, they held a press conference today at the Circuit Attorney's office. Some confusion down there about what's going to happen now, because he was going to send in reporters to help with the cases. What'll happen with that now?
Yeah, I'm not aware of any of that. I mean, I'm not been notified of any of that, other than what I've read, what's on the media side of it. But the bottom line, there's a process I go through as governor to make sure we do this. Once she turned in that resignation, that triggered the events to go next, and that was to put somebody in place until we make that appointment. And that's the process we go through to do that. And that's really the legal process to do that.
Governor, do you plan to appoint a Democrat for this position, and do you want somebody who will run for a full term in 2024?
You know, first of all, I don't know, the application we have, I couldn't tell you whether Democrats or Republicans, that's not going to be a factor to me. So it's not going to be a political appointee, whether they're Republican or Democrat. It's about who I think will go in there and do the best job to right this ship in the city of St. Louis. And is their heart in the right place to really put St. Louis people first? And I think that's one of the things that we'll look at. And the first part of the question that you had, you asked me a two-part question.
So do you want this person to run for a full term?
Yeah, you know what? It's up to them what to do. My whole emphasis on picking this person has nothing to do with the next election,
unconstitutional.
because that's where the people of this city will have the ability to pick that person. If that person goes in, they do a good job, and
That's
people like what he's
unconstitutional.
doing,
It's already done,
he
Governor.
can be able to do that. So that's kind of the way we're going to look at that to moving forward. But the people will have a right to vote when the vote comes up, when it comes up.
And Governor, just
It's
a question about,
unconstitutional.
should the legislature take a closer look at merging St. Louis County and city in the circuit courts? Do you think there's political will there?
Well, you know what, I don't know, that discussion was happened up there this year. You'll have to see what that is. Again, that would take the will of the people of the city of St. Louis and the county to be able to make that happen. So we'll see, but that's, again, I'm not sure what the legislative body will do.
Are you aware of Ms. Gardner receiving any payments as she leaves? Are there any severance, anything like that?
No, I do not. I haven't talked to the prosecutor. From that time, we've reached out to her office to try to set up a meeting to talk to her a little bit, but we haven't heard anything back from that. So, you know, look, we're trying to make sure that we're really looking at this in a practical way, that we can make sure that somebody goes in there from day one and has success is
It's
what we're
unconstitutional
doing.
what you
This
did.
is not about, you know, what's happened in the past. For me, this is about making sure I get the right person. We're going to move forward, and that's what we're going to do.
Governor, one more time.
Right here. Faith leaders from the meeting earlier today with them, they said that they expressed to you they want someone who is a qualified African-American candidate who's not interested in mounting a campaign for 2024. How do you respond to those concerns, and how would you characterize your meeting?
Yeah, you know, we met with the faith-based community. A lot of the leaders up here that I've worked for in my entire 5-6 years as governor to be able to go up there, we listened to that. Everybody has an opinion up here. There's different groups up here that would like to have their person in that position. But at the end of the day, it goes back to like when you're picking judges or anything else, you get the best candidates you can forward, and you pick the best candidate that you can, and that's the way we'll look at it. You know, again, whether they're Democrats, whether Republican has no bearing, whether they run for office again has no bearing. That's up to them.
Okay,
we've got
time for one more
All right,
question.
one
I
more.
wanted to ask you, just for clarification, by Friday, you will have somebody in as circuit attorney?
Yeah, we believe so. We believe so. We got a lot of moving parts between now and then. We got to make sure we get the office stable. That resignation took place today, so we should have people in there tomorrow to be able to do that. But again, I want to be clear when I talk about the Attorney General's office is in an assist mode. So I need to be very clear of that we're not going in there to take over that office. That's not our job. Our job is to go in there until we make this placement and then give him all the support we can to be successful. And I think that's going to happen. I'm confident by Friday we got some good candidates, and I think everybody, we're going to move forward at that point. So thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Who's in charge?
Thank you.
Who's in charge right now? Who is running the office right now?
Today she is.
Today she is, but tomorrow?
Tomorrow, the AGO's office will be the interim.
So is it the Attorney General himself, or is
No,
someone from his
will
office?
assist.
His
And
office will assist.
is it your understanding that Wesley Bell is an assistant prosecutor in the city of St. Louis at this moment?
I don't have a whole lot of information in regards to the Wesley Bell situation today. We were not informed of any of that move.
What about?